Just getting everything set up per usual. Okay. Dog hair all over me. How are you doing today, beautiful soul? Do not feel that I will need these quite yet. Just gonna wait, give a few minutes for others to join. I hope you are doing well. Coming live bit later than normal. The heat here has been pretty intense. Wow. Okay. I don't know if I'm gonna do these headsets. These headsets are on. All right. There we go. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just waiting a few minutes for those that are coming over from Instagram and Facebook to dial in. And thank you all for joining. I'm curious as to how many of those dropping in are familiar with what was posted in the description, or if this is your first time receiving anything in regards to what was listed in the description. Miss Louise, are you here for the entire live, my dear? So what I am bringing through was an activated experience, as they all are activated experiences. And it was originally going to be aligned for my soul pod today, but things have shifted for that to come through tomorrow. So I felt called to drop in and bring this through publicly. Now, I'm seeing a lot of new faces here. I'm not for sure if any of those that are here have received anything like this before. So if not, please understand, and I would invite the understanding in that this is an experience of activated energy. It's a speaking into dimensionality and the opportunity for a deepening into the understanding of the mirror dimension, if you will, or fourth dimension. I refer to it as the mirror dimension simply because it's the mirror of the heart. It's we've been, of course, in the 3D, and now we have an opportunity energetically. Many are already accessing 4D. We must pass through 4D before we make it to 5D. And everything in terms of ascension into dimensionality is based on choice. It doesn't just happen to you by chance. Just like you did not come into this realm by chance, you didn't just drop in here by chance, you chose to come in here. And everything that happens to you in your life is by your own choice. You are the creator, you are the material, you are the outcome of your choice. So everything, of course, but we all go into these roles of victim, we go into the roles of perpetrator, we go into the roles of martyr and, self-sacrifice. Those are roles that the ego plays. So as we're shifting into fourth dimension, we are reclaiming and regaining all of the soul personalities. And this means that when we are on a path of mastery, which means we're mastering third dimension, we are choosing to rise into fourth dimension so that we can no longer be anchored into the life and death cycle of this realm. Everyone comes back to this realm because they have unfinished business. There is a tether of the soul that is held here on a personality level. And it requires at some point that you come back and that you master. For every planet is a school. Every school holds its own set of lessons, its own tone of karma, if you will, if it's in the lower densities, lower dimensions. But our planet, our solar system, our entire galactic field, if you will, has an opportunity for ascension right now. And we're actually on that trajectory. We've already begun ascending. There are those that are moving as a collective with the ascension of the sun, with the ascension of the planet, and with the ascension of those galactic bodies that are able to actually move through that birthing canal or that gateway. So all of this is here. It's provided for those that find alignment with it to receive and experience energetically what it feels like to be connected into the dimensionalities of the heart. Mina, beautiful. I am so grateful that you were able to dial in. I really thought you would be asleep by now. Oh, I'm so grateful you're here with me. I really, really am. I was interested to see, because it is later in the day and I don't normally bring things through this late. I didn't know how many of our soul groups would be present. I'm very, very grateful that your soul is here. Thank you, my dear. So that gives an extra beautiful anchor. So I will speak into a few things to lead us into this, especially if you're hanging out here and you've never experienced anything like this before. I do feel like it is a powerful opportunity to have that experience if you haven't. I know it's gotta, it's definitely late there. And I'm not gonna be, this one's not, just simply because of the tone of the space right now, it's not going to be as long as normal. I would say maybe an hour, if that. So with that, I would like to call everyone into the awareness of what's being spoken into here. If you are choosing to be here and you are choosing to remain here and receive here, please understand again that we are speaking into aspects of, yes, you could say spirituality, but of course there's a lot in regards to spirituality that is pretty loaded. Most people hold some sort of belief around what they think spirituality is, when spirituality is really just the path of the soul or the path of the spirit. And with that, if we are on a true spiritual path, then we are choosing to master ourselves on a soul level. It's not just about the glitter and the pizzazz of showing what spiritual connections that we have, although those are definitely available. But a lot of times as a collective, especially right now, the spiritual community has gotten really, really, really hung up on a lot of fantastical beliefs, which is it's wonderful, it's beautiful. However, as we begin to truly delve into the dimensionality of 4D, we realize that it's not as complex and it's not as crazy, and yet at the same time, I guess you could say it is in a wonderful, beautiful way. Um, it's not as much what we have perceived it to be. Even myself, I really thought that the 4D was all about illusion still, and technically it is, because everyone's still moving out of 3D into 4D, which means they're still moving out of the dream into the waking illusion. And everyone is still wearing their masks of illusion, their ego. And so, as we peel back layers of ego, we are really able to experience dimensionality for its truth, which is based in we are responsible for everything that we perceive and everything that we receive. So, anything that we bring into our ascension with us is always, it can only and ever hold a higher tone of choice. Ascended mastery is about ascending in perception, ascending in choice, and ascending in being. So, the one thing that I have come to really understand as I have continually moved through my own master path is choice. It always boils down to choice. Everything boils down to choice. I could ask this question right now. Why are you here? Why are you choosing to receive this transmission? What is the intention? What is the purpose? That right there shows you where you come in, what you're choosing from within your own awareness, why you're choosing to receive something. It can show you why you lean into viewing something that's coming from someone else. What is it that is here for you? What is it that is here within you that maybe you don't normally view, or maybe you don't normally invest the time in viewing? It's also an opportunity to ask, what's in your awareness? This was a big one for my soul pod yesterday. We there I was beginning an activation such as this, and I could feel myself being pulled, quite literally, in this direction, just being pulled away. And for me, energetically, when I am focused on a specific point, and it's not even very specific, it's I'm focused on experiencing the heart, the truth of the heart, not the physical heart, not the perceived heart that is still bathed in a lot of illusion, but the heart, which is a hall of mirrors. It's the hall of mirrors, and it brings us into the true experience of time. As it begins to open itself up, you gain more and more of your own dimensionality, which means you gain more and more of your fourth dimensional self. And we've convoluted a lot of our truth because it's easier to accept it when it's bathed in a lot of idealism, deityism. It's very easy to get caught up in that. And I'm not saying that there's not truth in that. I'm just saying there's a specific, there's every truth comes from a line of frequency, and frequencies are coming in from somewhere, they're being received from somewhere. And if you just receive things and you don't know where it's coming in from, then you yourself have not stepped into the responsibility of your own awareness. You just receive to receive, and there's no intention behind it, which makes it very, very unconscious and subconscious. It's not really led by consciousness. And I love that, Louise, and to be here to receive truth. One thing I would invite in to expand and widen within that is what truth? What truth? Allow yourself to ask, what truth am I here for? What truth am I seeking? And what choices am I making to deepen within the understanding and clarity of that truth? For me, this incarnation is all about mastery. I could come back for more lifetimes. I could come back if I wanted to, of course, but I don't want to have to come back. I don't want to have to be tethered to this planet. I would really like for my soul to have the ability to now journey and experience itself from that higher aspect. And then, should I come upon another lower dimensional available ascension point or experience, I can extend more soul personalities and go back into that experience if I wanted. However, because there is an opportunity for ascension right now on a planetary, cosmic scale, universal scale, we have an opportunity for all of our soul personalities, all of our fragments of the soul that could not, because our soul can't come into lower dimensionality. Our soul cannot, our soul or our higher self cannot go below fifth dimension. And so therefore, what we are accessing in this realm is a portion. It's a portion of our soul. It's a portion of our light. And even that is filtered in the illusion. It's filtered and fragmented. If you hold a belief, and that belief, you hold so tightly to that belief, we see this a lot of times in relationships with other people. You don't want to let that person go, or you don't want to let an idea go, or you don't want to let a belief go. Therefore, any aspect of your soul or your higher self that is attempting to filter in and guide you cannot reach you. It can, well, it can, but it's going to reach you in little bitty filaments. It's little bitty. It's like a very, very small amount, because it's filtering through these layers of defiance, these layers of belief, these layers of attachment. And by the time it reaches where you're at in the physical, most people aren't even aware of it. They have no sensation for it. They've lost the feeling for truth. So, and I do believe that that's a big one, is most of the time, because of emotions and emotional entanglement, many believe they know what feels good, or they know what is resonant because it's resonant to what they believe, not necessarily resonant to a higher truth or the soul. Therefore, what they end up leaning into is feeding the machine of belief, or feeding the machine of what they are comfortable in, right? Just like social media sites such as this have become a haven for people to just get on there and attention seeking, attention seeking, attention seeking, right? Because attention seeking is about what you're putting out and what you're desiring to receive in return. And most of the time, people get on these platforms just to say something derogatory, something that is attacking, something that, of course, isn't true, and also something that makes them feel larger and bigger and better than everyone else, because behind that layer, they are afraid. And they're so afraid that if someone really was able to reach them where they are and see them for what they really are, then they're not going to seem like they're so big and bad anymore. And so we have a social media platform that is feeding everyone's minds full of this intense manipulation. And everyone is receiving it. Everyone is taking it constantly. Everyone is on social media constantly. Everyone is choosing to receive the frequencies of whatever is fed through their social media constantly. And for those, our galactic aspects and our galactic ancestors, the one thing that will be consistently repeated and has been consistently repeated through my own channel is that that is not the way to place your awareness, because those frequencies are even here. This is why I am very, very conscious of when I bring my energy through. And I've also begun limiting it to one platform. As you guys well know, I'll post on Instagram, but I'll bring the live through on here. And I haven't been on Instagram. It's simply because when it really boiled down to it, as you have heard me say, and I've spoken into it, what was I really gaining from it? What was necessary? Everyone that is in my realm right now, in my cosmic orbit, those are the ones that are meant to be there, right? And those that are meant to be there will always show up, and I will not need to be consistently attached to a social site for it to happen. Simultaneous to that, when we do choose to speak or bring our energy through, if we do it from a space of consciousness, then we use the frequency in the highest and greatest. We are using it and applying that access point to the highest and greatest good. It's either that, or we're using the frequency to feed our need for attention. And there, even myself included, many of us out there that offer such channelings and things, there is the majority of that is coming from a need for attention. It doesn't mean that there's not truth that's being offered, but where is it coming from? What was the intention to bring it forward? What is it that's needing to be spoken? And what is it that's needing to be proven? And that's what keeps showing up. So we've kind of gotten our spiritual soul path confused a little bit, I feel. And simultaneously, it's a beautiful opportunity to learn, right? To understand that we can harness these outlets, use them for the highest and greatest with conscious intentionality, with being conscious and intentional with what we're sharing, and being honest with ourselves as to why we're sharing it. When I realized that for me, it was still about the numbers, bringing lives through all the time and doing, I was like, man, what's the intention here? Why am I doing this? I mean, obviously, yes, I want people to step up and receive. And so there absolutely, that's always there. I want to share in the light with others. That's always there. But there was an aspect of ego that was also stepping in with that was like, no, but you need to reach more people. You need to reach more people, and you need more people to see you so you can access those that are meant to connect with you. And everyone else is posting every day and putting videos out 4 times a week or whatever. And then I realized, but that's not my path. Fatima, hello, beautiful. Yeah, I would love to speak into that again. Yeah, that's yeah, I feel you, Fatima. Absolutely. I'm so grateful you're here too, my dear. Thank you. And this is the thing is, even the ones that travel and even the ones that have a big following, they're still what I realized is, even for myself, why I was choosing to connect into the ones I was choosing to connect into was there was a part of me that wanted attention from them, which means that's an invitation from their field, right? That's an invitation from their field, but it's also, that's what drew me in, and that's what it was based on. That's what it was based on, is that was that attention aspect, wanting to be witnessed by someone who is being witnessed by so many others. And it feels good when we have others that are so recognized show us attention. And then we also must be honest with ourselves and realize that's not the right way to lean. It's, and again, into regards to the 144, I'm going to invite in and I'm going to bring forward what I had received, that the 144, what I received recently, and this came back into my awareness, it had actually been there previously from some recent Ascended Master channelings from Serapis Bay. And it was in regards to the 144. It was in connection with the 144, the higher self, the master, the soul, the Ascended Master, which is the higher self. Not necessarily Ascended Master, but the higher self in the monad. And the 144 is soul personalities. So everyone, if we just allow this in, and it's very simple, the 144, if every soul from the higher self, if the higher self created 144 soul personalities to go into lower density realms, maybe have a couple of different soul personalities on one planet simultaneously, have 100, some on another planet, some in between realms, whatever it is, however it's incarnated, then that really brings it into such simplicity. And it's no more about just being a chosen one, which I do feel. Now, again, I'm not saying that the 144 isn't connected into what we've all been told it is. However, when that dropped in, it felt, it connected. It connected. And I've been feeling into, okay, so how does that connect in with all this other insight that everyone gets about the 3 waves of volunteers and the 144 volunteers? Um, and so I would like to dial into that right now. I'm already being pulled into. So what I'm hearing, what I'm feeling, is, let's say that the soul has 144 soul personalities. Then in the 3 waves, there are certain soul personalities that have agreed to begin their path of mastery, if you will, their path of ascension, which means, as stated, just because the planet and just because the cosmic system has a gateway of ascension, we choose that path of ascension, right? We choose it, we align within it, and we consistently are making choices that are activated within a higher aspect of ourselves, which brings us higher and higher in our own understanding and our own enlightenment. That right there will allow that soul personality to have access to the rest of the 144. So if we have 144, which have each agreed, in each of those 144 soul personalities have each agreed to rise higher, or at least bring through something of a higher aspect of themselves, which will allow them to graduate this realm. Or let me refer. I'm hearing which will allow them to no longer come into 3D. There's a distinction there. Because we have a distinction here in dimensionality. We have the graduation, of course, of 3D, and then we now have 4th dimension, 4th density, which is the gateway into 5D. So there are some, I am feeling, that have agreed to not only clear and reclaim that karma of 3D, of course, shifting, awakening into 4D. I'm feeling where some have disconnected or are disconnecting from 3D, having the higher vision of the 3D and the understanding and the ability to clear the karma. As they come into 4D, I'm feeling that the 3 waves of the soul personalities, each wave carries a tone. I'm feeling there's some within each wave that are choosing the highest path of mastery. We have those that are choosing to remain in 4D, remaining there for soul experience. And some that are in between. Marakasia torkotia sia dorkukukia karkasia korkosia karmargiasi kia korku arakasia marakasia torkosia. Requesting clarity and viewing into the truth of the 144 in connection with the 3 waves. 3 waves of volunteers. And I would also invite, as I'm asking this, I would invite each of you to be asking, because I would like to place a reminder here that And I'm feeling, and it's interesting because it's almost like I'm not able to penetrate. I'm asking. I'm hearing that the 144 is an access point. That all souls come here in waves. That the 144 and the 3 waves is directly connected into the shift out of 3D into 4D. Because we must remember that, let me hang on just one second. Got to report this person. They continue harassing. All right. So anyways, the 144, I'm really feeling is connected into those that chose to be a part of the ascension, those that chose in some way to be a part. I'm also feeling simultaneously, and there's just something there that I'm like, if I start leaning into trying to make it or trying to see if there's like something fantastical about it, or if there's any chosen ones that are, it's like I can't go into it. Which for me, it means that it was layered in. There's truth there, but it's been layered in some idealism. Because we all choose to come. Like we all choose to come here. We all choose to incarnate. We all choose to play the role that we do. There we go. So there we go. Bye-bye. So even as I'm expressing this, I'm also going to, as always, request that each of you fill into it. Because what I feel like, even, Mina, what you described there, I think it's great that channel has a lot of followers, but there's also, I feel like it just starts getting into this thing of like, am I, how special am I, which really feeds into, I just feel ego. Exactly. I feel like it just comes back. We all chose to be here. And we always choose in every moment. That's the thing. Every moment we choose. And all of us are here, and yes, all of us are here carrying different soul templates, and those soul templates determine, shall we say, our mastery of this realm. So each of us came here, of course, as we all know, with a mission, and I feel that in that mission, it is to leave our legacy of love, whatever that is, our legacy of logos, our legacy of the heart, which is leaving that imprint or that tone that was not previously available because the soul did not have full access to itself because that was the choice. It was choosing as a part of the fragmentation to be a personality. It was a personality. We've all been personalities, ego personalities playing the ego game. And because we're ego personalities playing the ego game, we are consistently putting on costumes and putting on masks and, playing. And so each of us are special. Each of us come here with our, with our own template. And I've fed into that. I've fed into it because for me, I always knew that my path was mastery, and layered upon that mastery was the ego saying, well, somehow that makes it a very specific, which I guess it is, but it makes it something that not many are accessing or have access to. But the truth of it is that everyone has access to it, but not everyone's choosing it. And for those of us that are choosing it, we understand why, because it requires a state of presence and a state of consistent applied awareness of choice that calls us to be more than we have ever applied or devoted within ourselves. So the longing for home, you can't find your place here. Yeah, I've read all those. And people get really caught up in that just to reflect, because everyone wants to belong to something. And that right there, if you identify with this and you identify with this, then this is your sign. This is your sign that you're this, or this. And then you have somebody else telling you what you are, what you're here for. It goes, it goes back into the ego. And that's why I couldn't access it. There was no, usually anytime I'm accessing something and I'm going into the field of consciousness and I'm pulling from the field of consciousness and the access point of higher truth, higher wisdom. As soon as I go in, I can just go, it's this flow. And once everything is received, it closes out, from within my own understanding and my own channel. Right. So with that, it was like, as soon as I tried to go beyond just us having soul extensions, and each of us have come here, and I'm even feeling into the wave aspect, because I've bought into, I've accepted that too, where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm from the second wave, da da da. Mario Shukurukuya. So first I would like to do this really quickly, if you guys do not mind, because it will shift us from this space into a higher connection. And not only that, we can shift from that into the continual activation. I would like for us all to dial in to our field of consciousness and to dial in fully, to be present in the heart. So the intention and purpose of this is that we are fully in a space of clarity, and we are in a space of receiving ourselves at the highest. So just requesting, as always, to receive ourselves and accepting that request to receive ourselves in our field of highest and greatest understanding. So calling in Tarkasia, 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 Suktuk, 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 And immediately I always feel myself, I feel my third eye immediately connect in. So allow yourself to dial in, and remember, you're dialing in or you're connecting. Express, express, express. In order for you to be fully connected, you must reverberate the tone. And then you feel that reverberation. So we request clarity and deepening into the understanding of the 144, releasing any preconceived beliefs, releasing any mental projected understandings, allowing them to come in, but requesting the clarity be present through the higher mind and states of higher consciousness. So asking, are there 3 waves of volunteers? I'm feeling there, it's like there needs to be a greater specification of what is meant here. Are there 3 waves of 144 volunteers which are present? What is their connection to this understanding, or what is the understanding connected to the 144, and how is it connected to the soul personality? So just allow yourself to accept and receive all that is coming in. Okay, there's the clarity. So there are waves of souls that did not hold karmic connection to this plane. And I'm hearing that the waves, the quote unquote waves, was necessary for the acclimation of incoming souls that are pure, if you will, meaning they hold no karmic connection. This is where I am understanding. So for myself, I've always known that this was my first time. And a full in terms of any full incarnation, but actually, see, I'm feeling a dimensional rift there. I will go into that in a moment. So these are souls that requested or volunteered. They were not required to come. And upon volunteering, this was also because they have an opportunity to experience the ascensional shift, which, because there is no soul here until now that had an opportunity to experience this on planet Earth, this is a very big time. And this happened in waves, so that the soul personalities could alternate. I'm hearing it's aligning, feeding resources into this plane to experience the shift. So, this simply means the differentiation there is that these souls, regardless of where they hail, these souls just simply had never experienced an incarnation on earth and held no karmic anchor here. I was just asking if there were any souls here that had already mastered this planet in terms of ascended mastery, and I heard no. But you could hear different. So this, I can see where the questions feed into that. However, I'm also feeling simultaneous where having a soul recognize what their mission was. It was to come here and to be a volunteer to assist, not just assist in the shift, but an opportunity to play a role together within the shift, because the shift had already been chosen and everything is already moving. The shift is already happening. Once a soul or soul personality is here, then that is up to us to consistently choose to remain in that shift of energy. And I am hearing having souls here that had never incarnated here energetically does assist, because it does alleviate the karmic pull. So there was an opportunity with a greater aspect of energy. So as we shift and we gain a dimensionality, we have a greater cap of energy. These waves came in to allow souls that were, as stated, new to this realm, to come in. We could hold a greater capacity of energy, allowing the pure souls to come in. Remember, pure to this realm, pure to this planet, which assists in preventing, and not preventing, it assists others that are not native to this planet, that have gotten stuck in their own karmic cycles. So is it a little easier for a pure soul to remain detached? Yes. I will say yes. Because there's not as much of the karmic energy. There's karma that's gained through their lifetime, absolutely. But there is not as much that is layered, therefore, that does assist in the shift. However, I feel where it has been taken into a bit of ego for a lot, because then it becomes, because almost like a chosen one type of thing, when everything comes down to choice. Even the souls that chose to come here, that are pure to this realm, chose to come here. Therefore, they chose to play a role in their own ascension within this plane, their own experiences within this plane, and directly that correlates. So I would like to reflect how that correlates to the planet directly. So as we are choosing to bring everything into the awareness and shift, I will use the experience yesterday. I had a live gathering for my soul pod, and I called everything. I asked them to speak into what was in their awareness, what, as we were leaning into the activation, what was pulling them away from, being in a state of neutrality. And they were able to bring all of that into the light. And as I began expressing and speaking into aspects of higher truth, they were able to see where they have been holding themselves captive before walking through the doorway of a higher choice point. Higher choice point ascends us in perception. But if you have something there before you enter that doorway, such as fear, such as doubt, such as denial, anything, any belief, any thought. If you are approaching the doorway and before you get to the doorway, everything must filter through the fear, the doubt, the denial, if that means that you do not fully walk through the doorway of choice. There is a part of you that might go, but then there's a part of you that lingers because it's still connected into what you still think you need, what you still believe is necessary, and you hold yourself captive by your own self-suffering. And so you actually you're like, you feel it, you feel the experience. You're like, yes, that's the choice I want to make. That's aligned, that feels resonant. And so you lean into it, you accept it, you go into it, but you have not acknowledged all the aspects of you that are still remaining connected into these shadow cells, right? These ego cells, shall we say. Ego is, it's needing something, right? It's needing to understand. If a higher understanding is brought before it, it could blame shift. And therefore, the soul personality is fragmented once more, and it's fragmented even more. So when the higher understanding was able to be accessed and the whole and completion was gained, we stepped into the activation and received the fullness of our, our pillar, our light force energy. So all of the energy was pouring in. We also had an intention of what we wanted to use our field of consciousness for, to assist in the recreation of our own paradigm and our own field. And simultaneous to that, when everything wrapped, right, even like right now, there was supposed to be no weather other than sunny. Like there was nothing on the radar. There was absolutely nothing. And there was a complete, and we've been in a drought, and we had a complete paradigm timeline shift, a reclamation. And it just immediately after we closed that began pouring down rain. I think we got an inch of rain. And now it's thundering. And this has happened for the last 3 times that I've brought this through for that space. So the planet directly receives the highest and necessary, what is highest and greatest for the land through what we choose within ourselves. That's our direct connection to the planet. It is not us. We don't go and mend or do anything in that way. I'm not saying, don't go do offerings or rituals or anything like that. Do whatever feels aligned for you always. Absolutely. It's merely an invitation of understanding that it all takes place within here, and it all takes place in direct correlation to time. So everything, our connection to dimensionality and our connection to our experiences here, the planet included, because the dimension of the planet and the dimension of us are directly correlated. And so if we are caught up in all these fantastical ideas and we connect to the galactic and everything, but how is that really assisting here? What is, like, it is, but it is, but the tone in which it comes in on is the big aspect that most are missing. I feel I was missing it. I'm still learning, because I've just begun bringing these connections into Sirius B, which is an ascended planet. It's ascended with its star. So we can access, and I've been guided to access those stargates that have ascended, because those are directly correlated to what's necessary for us right now. This is, a dimensional planet, and therefore there is a dimensional cap. Those that come into this planet of higher dimensionality, depending on their dimensionality, they come in either by a projection of consciousness, or if they do come in physicality, they're coming in between dimensional gateways so that they can actually access this planet. So I want to go from here into the activated experience. So thank you all for receiving everything that you have thus far. As we go into this activated experience, we are going to be receiving ourselves fully, feeding ourselves, feeding our light, feeding ourselves with light, and experiencing and placing the intention into us of how we are consciously shifting our physical experience and our physical reality. So I would invite you to go ahead and even if you place an intention there, remember that you are the conscious creator. So you don't just put an intention there and then just sit back, right? You are the intention. You stand in intentionality. So allow yourself to feel what is necessary for you to receive of yourself in this activated gateway of self, and allow yourself to begin connecting into that. Okay, my dear Becca, thank you for tuning in while you had an opportunity. Love you so much, my dear. And remember, express, express, express. Zakatiki rukukukushiki atak arimiki ark aski ark aski ark aski ark aski ark ask rukukukukukuku ki 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 markukukukukukuku shiktak rukukuku ki markukuku kurk 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 mark ork 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 mark ork. Remember, light is sound and sound is light. It's amazing, Fatima. It's amazing. Right on time. And I would like for us to call all soul personalities in. It's about to storm. You guys, so one second, please continue. I need to text my family and let them know their car windows are down, just really quickly as we go into this, because I don't even think they know that this is, like, it hasn't even been on the radar. So just please, 1 second. Okay, there we go. Thank you. And the intentionality of this is to experience your multidimensionality. True dimensionality is shifting in and out of time, in and out of dimensional time. The fourth dimension, as I am understanding it at this point, is the dimensionality of time, where we regain all fragments of ourself through time and through space, those personalities, and we complete ourself. And once we are complete, that is the completion of fourth density, fourth dimension, and then we are able to rise into fifth density, fifth dimension. So the intention is to be in a daily state of applied awareness and also activated remembering, which is remembering your highest and greatest truth through your highest and greatest vision. It is understanding yourself and viewing yourself through those doorways of truth, the doorways of the heart. But first you must gain the doorways. This means you must begin choosing higher and with greater depth. And as we are now connected we've been connected, we are now connected into a higher state, which is a higher brain wave, if you will. The brain waves rise and we go into different levels of consciousness, and then we can also exceed those brain wave states, which is what I understand as the Alpha Omega, where we go and we rise in consciousness, and we are the all, and we can view the all and experience ourselves as the all, and we funnel all into the physical. So which cycles are you stuck in? Which cycles of behavior, which cycles of choices, which cycles of belief are you still leaning into? Allow yourself to bring those into your awareness. Once you have viewed and once you hold that in your awareness, I will ask the question, why are you choosing to remain there? Markashia takarina hisi kurukuku, suktukuru, 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 suktuk tuk 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 tuk. And once you are aware of the why, you have an opportunity to step through a higher doorway and choose differently. Will you allow yourself to rise? Or will you still bring something or try to bring something with you? Will you still try to bring a person? Will you still try to bring a thought? Will you still try to bring a belief? Will you still try to bring something with you through that doorway, which will not allow you to go fully through? Remember, you regain yourself as a whole and complete on a cellular when you yourself have stepped through the doorway of receiving yourself in your highest and greatest. Let us take some deep breaths. What is it within your body that you're holding on to that is not allowing you to move freely through time? Where's the fear? Where's the doubt? Where's the shame? Where's the guilt? Where are you consistently leaning into distractions in order to release yourself from having to view the truth of what's here now? Allow yourself to feel. So grateful you're here, Cindy. We're moving. I'm actually feeling my body move right now as a wave. It feels like I'm laying in the ocean and there's a wave under me. I feel that my entire being is vibrating. Allowing our cells, allowing our body to drink in the light of our life force energy. So allow yourself to intentionally pull in from your field of consciousness. Bringing in your light. Consciously feeding yourself. And just feeling the vibrations, feeling the reverberations of sound and light. And remember, your cells are on a molecular level vibrating all the time. They're moving all the time. They're responding to sound. They're responding to sound. As you're receiving this, allow yourself to express the sound. Express the sound. And it's very interesting because I'm feeling the distinction here of where we apply codes of like Arcturian and Andromedan. And I'm feeling where the shift has happened, at least within myself, when I'm expressing, because a lot of times people ask me, well, what light language are you expressing? I'm simply expressing the tone of consciousness, which is the direct connection to my soul self, my God self. Therefore, anything that I hold a connection to in the moment that is there to support will automatically funnel through. I'm not saying that these energies are not present. Obviously, they need a conduit, and we are the conduit. However, they pass through the channel, through consciousness. They pass through. They come through dimensional consciousness. So in order for the truth, if you will, of that tone to reach us, or that light wave, we must be the proper antenna. And I'm feeling how this is, yes, tonal frequencies, exactly, Brendan. And I'm feeling so much in my back, in my spine, in my wing space, opening and expanding just within the expression of that truth. And pulling me, leaning me. Everything able to move and vibrate in unison. So this is also what I'm receiving, is when the cells are in harmony, when the molecules are vibrating in harmony, then the body moves in response to the magnetism of the molecules. Because they are all tuned, they are all dialed, they are all, the little antennas are up, and they're hearing, they're receiving, they're vibrating to the same tone. They're all unified. Therefore, your body is unified. Therefore, your receiving is unified. In order for us to receive our cosmic inheritance, if you will, through us, our cosmic rays, we must be a proper receptacle for receiving. And this begins with our choice. Our choice carries our understanding. So we're going to move through one final wave here of receiving. And we're directing these sounds, these tones into us. Therefore, the body is able to find itself in harmony and resonance, and that is the beginning stages of any healing. Breathing deeply. This also opens up the nervous system. It opens up all cells. It opens up all. There we go. It's opening, expanding. And just allow yourself to feel the expansiveness. We're going to expand within, then we are going to Pull it all in and anchor it into the cells. Now, using your conscious intentionality, what is that? If there's anything happening in your body that is uncomfortable, that is disease-based, that is inherited through your gene code, that is out of alignment, that is no longer holding its highest transmission of harmony, of wellness, of a state of health, use your conscious intention and place your conscious focus on shifting that, directing your consciousness into that space of self, directly connecting into that area in the body. For you are the God code, you are the God creator, but you must also simultaneously be connected into your tone of creation, which means getting all the things that are layered upon it, filtering through that, and getting yourself into the tone. For me, I'm feeling called to focus on my ovaries. Placing your hands towards the location, directing your consciousness and your field of light. With your intention, feeding, pulling all of your life force energy into that area. And feeling how everything is opening. And then placing that intention of what you desire your experience to be. Returning it to optimal states. And clearing. Any inherited lines of time that are right now available for you to reclaim. Remember, those lines of time can show up again in your body at any time if you're making a choice that carries that experience. This is why choice is so important. These applied frequencies are only able to uphold themselves through you when you are consistently rising in tone, which means rising in choice, which means rising in time. Reclaiming optimal for the ovaries, clearing any inherent beliefs around the ovaries, clearing any inherent genealogy that proclaims the ovaries carry any lines of time that are not in sync with my own creative expression that is free. That are filled with grace, fluidity, and ease. And then this is maintained through my consistent choice to consistently apply my conscious self, which will uphold this consistently. Now as we take this, and we apply. I don't want to say apply. Living light goes where it is most needed. Through our focus of intention. So also calling the state of consciousness to filter into the body and requesting the living light, our living light force energy, go to all areas where it is most needed. And feeling how that pours in. It's intense. It's pouring in. Tarayasi, Marioria. It's a wonderful intensity. Arakataki, Sikurkuk, Urkuk, Urkuk, Urkuk. Kariatakarik, karikarik, 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 Urkuk, 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 Urkuk. And calling in and funneling all soul personality extensions, funneling in all energies that are available to be funneled into energetically to support the path of higher choice and mastery. And I feel like that is coming into the heart, into the wing space. The rest is coming in and around the body. It's pouring in and down through the womb. Moving up through the third eye, crown, back down the spine. And just allow yourself to fill up with your light. Darkashi marakotakari asiki marakotakari asimataki. Ork 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 suk 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 ork 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 suk 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 ork 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 suk suk suk. Whoop 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 whoop. And shifting into the anchor point of self. Deep breath. Just feeling yourself as whole and complete. Feeling yourself as your body of light. Feeling yourself as the state that exists when you devote yourself to your own experience. In the now, you apply yourself in awareness, apply yourself and filter out the BS, allow in the tone. Remember, whatever is necessary for you is here now, and it's here in a place of neutrality. It is not seeking, but it is asking. It is requesting. Requesting means you allow yourself to receive whatever is here for you in clarity, but you also choose to step into and receive yourself from a tone that allows clarity. 1 second. I apologize. Thank you. And all is in. Tarakatakuryasiki. Tarakatakuryasiktiki. Rakataki, arkataki, 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 arkataki. And allow yourself to feel. Another wave moving through. And we solidify. Zaktakai, Maragoriga, Siktiki, Marakataki, Siktiki, Mariatiki, Mariatiki, Siktiki, Mariatiki, Siktiki, Mariatiki, Siktiki, Mariatiki, Siktiki, Mariatiki, Siktiki, Orkokuku, Orkokuku, Orkokuku. So, 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 so. Allowing yourself to receive. All is solidified, all is anchored. Okay, all is complete, everyone. Thank you for receiving. If anyone would like to share really quickly, what you're feeling or how you're feeling upon receiving. I would love to hear. Um, I would love to hear. Please drop that in the chat. And while you're dropping that in, if you don't mind, give me 2 seconds to go roll up windows right here. No, actually, never mind. There he comes. There he comes. I was trying to get someone out here to come roll up the windows, and they hadn't yet. So now they come. There they come. There they come. There they come. Or actually, give me 2 seconds. Let me get these windows. Hang on 1 second, you guys. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Slow moving bobblehead. Yeah, it's anytime we're shifting in and out of ranges of consciousness, if that's something that, again, that you're on in an awareness point that you're not used to. You'll definitely move in and out, and it's always an amazing something here to I would invite in. It's there for you if you would like to apply it. Is when you move into and you have an awareness that you will be shifting in and out of consciousness. If you will play a more active role in your own receiving, where even if you don't normally speak light language, and again, light language is just an expression of tone. If you allow yourself to be in a connection or expression, it will continually pull you into your own feeling of what's taking place. Well, and yeah, Cindy, that makes sense, especially if you were moving in and out of where to focus your energy, then it would definitely, you would only fill up a portion of the wave. So I would definitely, and anyone that feels called to revisit this and on the replay, I would invite you, now that there is an awareness of what is here, to bring into this. So here, right here, Cindy, everyone is always moving through cycles of time, whether it's because you're making choices out of fear of missing out, you're making choices because you feel like you need something, like you need to have that experience, you need to be in that physical location, you need to be with those people. And if you allow yourself to accept where you've been making choices, why you've been making them, then you will see the cycle of time that you've been stuck in and where your energy has been consistently going. Because it's very interesting how our own ability to perceive, it gains more and more of these nuances the more and more that we allow ourselves to receive from a higher state. So the issue that you were saying you were having trouble focusing on, allow yourself to simply, whatever is the most available in your awareness, allow that to come in and place your focus there. Like whatever is most in the awareness, that is whatever is usually pulling you out of your awareness, that's where you go. Whole body vibrations and waves, practicing beautiful practice. I love that, practicing the tone. Yeah, we have a storm moving in again here. We've been in these droughts, and I feel this is really, 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 we're seeing the direct reflection of these intentional conscious applications, because it completely shifts our paradigm. Repeated visuals, repeated numbers are simply, I know that there's a lot of meaning placed behind it, but a repetition of numbers is basically a sign, if you will, or it's It's something, it's catching your attention for something. It's saying, hey, there's something here that you need to be aware of. There's something here that you need to be aware of. And the majority of the time, we're not in a full awareness. We are in a partial awareness, or we're in a very unconscious awareness, which means things just show up and we're just like, oh, I don't know where that came from, or I wonder why that's here. Or, maybe we think we hold an understanding as to why, but we haven't really gone deeper into it. The numbers are there to either show you a reflection of your own conscious activated shift, or where you have an availability to shift your reality if you so choose. Everything in our reality, and there's another big wave moving through, everything in our reality is a direct reflection of our own creation. So everything in our reality reflects to us what's happening through us, whether we know that it's happening, meaning whether it's directly in our awareness or whether it's floating around in our awareness and we just haven't connected to it yet. Now, that's not to say that we do not have, angels, if you will, or beings or guides or whatever that are a part of our team, assisting. However, that the way that it's been showing up for me as I've shifted and I've risen in mastery is that all energies that oversee us, I mean, our soul is our guide. That would make no sense to have something other than our soul guiding us, right? So I feel like a lot of times we have a tendency to get caught up in all of these other energies, and it doesn't mean that we don't have assistance. It just simply means that we also kind of lose sight of what we're here to experience, and not just that, what we're choosing to experience. So for me, repeated numbers now are a direct reflection of the tone of time that I'm in. So I don't go, like, even though I see the numbers on the clock and I know there's days of week, I don't normally, I flow through time differently. From practicing, oh, that's amazing. I love that you're practicing light language. And the heat, by the way, the heat is the cells releasing. And you're very welcome. You're very welcome. I do feel that, this is something that's been shifting for me. So I'm only going to express where I'm at right now. Which is directly has shifted and changed from where I would have expressed a few months ago, which is the whole purpose, is the whole intention. I don't stay stuck in a belief. I allow myself to move through and experience. But from where I'm at right now, everything that I receive comes directly from my own connection to myself as my higher self, rising in perception, which is me directly connecting into my soul and rising, which is my direct connection into source, right? For all of us, it's the same for all of us. And we do have these, of course, there's a whole array of amazing cosmic energies that are out there. However, what we are able to perceive in this realm is completely dependent upon the dimensionality. So we are in a dimensional physical, so therefore we see with physical dimensional, we see everything, and it's limited to what the physical eyes can receive. So even when we look into the skies and we see the physical stars, we have to keep in heart that some of those stars have already ascended. They don't even exist there anymore. But by the time the light reaches us, it's billions and billions of years later. So what we see in our sky isn't exact. We are moving through dense time, which is not the same as space-time. Therefore, what we see up there isn't exactly as it is, because time moves differently outside of the dimensionality of physical matter. That means what we see in the physical matter realm is one aspect of seeing, one aspect of experiencing. Once we shift out of that and rise out of that, we will experience space-time, which is free from the the physical body, which means we will be in a state of no physicality, or very light physicality, if you will. No, it won't be physicality at all. It's going to be different, right? So just keeping that at heart, everything that we see and everything that we perceive in this physical is limited to our own dimensionality. However, that's the wonderful thing about fourth dimension and fourth density is it's an extra dimensionality, which means we can see and perceive a little bit more. It's a little bit more expansive, and we have an opportunity now to regain access to our complete soul self. So thank you all for joining. Thank you all for receiving. I am super grateful for each of you that chose to be here and receive this. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I am grateful that we had this opportunity to experience these waves together. I'm grateful that each of you had an opportunity to practice your tones and your light, your expressed light, and to feel the reverberation of that in return. Because that's the joy of this, is you're communicating with the field of consciousness, and the field of consciousness is communicating back, because you are the consciousness communicating with your own field, and you're receiving exactly back what you intend in the moment. And you have a direct reflection of that and a complete shift in your paradigm and in your reality. And it's also, simultaneous. Everything that is available to be applied into that is wholly dependent on the shift as well. So the more that you place yourself in a consistent devotion of your soul, where you're not consumed by these other things that we've been consistently consumed by, then you will begin to experience the true beauty, which is the existence of our higher self. And this means that we allow ourselves to always and ever realize that our ability to be free from this realm is our ability to no longer be attached to this realm. So if there's anything right now that you could not, that if you thought of leaving this realm, whether it's a loved one, a pet, a friend, and if you think of them leaving or you leaving and you're overwhelmed with grief, obviously it's a human emotion. I get it. It's difficult. Simultaneously, it shows us if there's anything that we can't live without, then that's something that we are karmically bonded with. And that's also where we're meant to be breaking those ties. For me, it's been a big, beautiful, wonderful, challenging journey to free myself from those. My fur baby, that's my twin soul in this realm, and he's there as a direct mirror of me always. He might be in a a fur body, but he's here as a state of a soul consciousness. He's just in that body, and he's a direct reflection of me always. And that's always been my biggest challenge. Is I know his life here is much shorter, which is exactly why I chose, and exactly why we chose that connection. And it's always there, and it's always something where I consistently make sure that I am choosing to not attach myself so much to where it would directly, when he leaves, it would directly create a tide pool, a funnel into grief, because then I could get lost in that karmic attachment. So it's very important that we visit those often. Okay, I love you all. Thank you for your presence. I'm closing this out. Siki arkaski mark urku siki mariasia takisia marakatakisia kurkutiasia markatakisia arkatamari arkoskia arkosku saktak ark mari aski arkmak a suk. Circle is complete. The moment is complete. Thank you all so very much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next live. Thank you for making and investing the time. See you all then. Adonai.